I hope everybody's keeping well. So I just want to talk about a bit of legislation that is going through the door, and I think it's very good in my history. I think it's very good because, especially because I talked about many times before about organised crime and how to use children, to the advantage, especially young people, they take advantage of their naivety. They take advantage of them because obviously young people want money to go out for, etc. They want nice things, they want nice shoes, they want brand clothing, etc., etc., etc. You get what I'm saying? They want drinking, they want smokes and fags and things like that. So you get what I mean. So our organised crime is a big factor in that. And the survey done today was nearly 1,000 students, for example, in one, and across the country, give it or take, are involved in organised crime. Now, the legislation that I'm talking about here that will make it illegal for gangs, and but the young people I don't think will face anything. At least I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about that. But the gang bosses and the people that are over to give the orders to the children will face huge consequences over that, which is obviously very welcome. Because we need to nip it in the bud. We can't be allowing our young people to go down a life of crime. And it's not the right way. It's not the right way. And we have to nip it in the bud before before it expands and before we can't nip it in the bud anymore. So it's an easy way of you tackle the problem before it gets out of hand. And over the last few years, it has gone out of hand, especially in Dublin areas of Dublin. So obviously, this legislation, as I said, will make it really illegal for for gangs to use children to their advantage, and obviously that's great. Which will make them go to prison. I think that will be more or less classed as child abuse. That's more or less what I'm reading in between the lines, kind of, but it more or less will be counted as child abuse and child exploitation, which is obviously very welcome because that's something that if the judges still put them away for that, there's something very wrong with this country. But again, there's something very wrong with this country. Because we have to be tough in these criminal gangs. We can't be softy with them. The state has to crack down very hard on them. Because again, they're taking advantage of young people and it's not fair. And also there's a responsibility on the state, along with the Garda Síochána, along with the Department of Education, to educate young people, and obviously to do a good job in education young people in drugs and drug compared to about 10 years ago. So I do commend that, and there's been huge strides made in that. But it's the community policing too. There's not enough community guards, and I keep saying that a guard that knows everybody in a community is very useful. It is very useful on the ground, to know who's the troublemakers, who's the people that are respectable and don't cause any trouble. Just a community guard that knows everybody. That's something that's very crucial in the community, and it's something that's good for community policing. It's good to have a community guard. Obviously with the recession, it was cut to a very big extent. So hopefully the government might, in the next few years, might bring back more community-based policing, with more community guards on the ground, on the beat, if that makes any sense. Talking to young people, interacting with young people, interacting with the local community, different things like that. Very welcome. It is very welcome, and there's something that is very crucial, I suppose. And as I said, to offer to what I said before, to offer them weekend jobs, to get the state involved in trying to get weekend jobs, trying to start a scheme for young people so they can get weekend weekend work, where they can do different things like that. I came up before and I said, community work, pay them a few bob. The local authorities can pay them a few bob, to pick a few weeds, to do sweep up a bit. 2 or 3 hours a week. 2 or 3 hours a week. You give them a few bob. Bob's your welcome. It saves the council. It saves the council manpower. Saves the state time. And it's helping you'd being out of crime. It's giving them a small bit of extra money for a hard day's work. And I think that would go good, and that's something obviously I would look into if I ever did get into office. It's getting young people involved in the community, because again you get involved in the community by cleaning up and things like that and working with the community. Say for example, there's a little problem in the area. You're having young people, if they're having, say if it's 5 hour work days or something like that, on a Saturday, when they get paid, let's take for example, 150, be generous and say 150. by the taxi, by the local authorities or by the government. Um, you know, that's a fair chunk of money for one day's work. But again, this will stop young people going into crime. But again, people might ways that say that they could use spend it on drugs, or drink, and that's obviously very concerning that. But we have to really just be how would I put it? We have to put our trust into them that they are honourable enough as basically I'm not talking about young children. I'm talking about teenagers going in the secondary school, because that's particularly where they get crazy into money and buying clothes and things like that. But again, there's a role for the state, there's a role for the community, there's a role for the Department of Education, because it is something that has to be tackled, and it has to be tackled on that whole basis there. Um, because far too often we've seen people get into gangs, some people, and they're in prison, and they're not in prison all their life, and they have no life. People might be saying they have loads of money, they have a big car, they have everything, but at the end of the day they didn't own it. They're causing trouble, they're causing hassling communities, they're causing terror in the community. And that's something that we can't tolerate, as in any country can't tolerate. So hopefully they do pass this, because it is very good legislation, I have to say. Compared to maybe the hate speech law, I don't know what because again it's kind of in the air. They haven't got a clue what they're going to put in yet. But with this, at least we know that it will protect young people from gangs, and will protect them from being pushed into gangs and things like that. And it will give powers to the guards, and will give powers to the state to protect our young people. And that's what we need. We need to protect our young people. For as long as we can, we need to protect their innocence as long as we can. Which is obviously welcome, and obviously welcome Helen McAtee for bringing this in. Hopefully it does get passed. But yeah, please take care, everybody. Be mindful of yourself, and mind yourself, and take care, and bye.